First of all, your reflections on what's been a pretty extraordinary week and the fact that King Charles is coming to Wales today.
Well, I agree. It has been an extraordinary week, and the eyes of the world have been on the events here in the United Kingdom, and what will happen in Cardiff today will no doubt be seen by people in every part of the globe. So it's an important day for us. We're lucky the weather in Cardiff today is a fantastic early autumn day, and there will be many people looking forward to taking part in the different events that form part of today's programme.
And just talk me through some of those. What can people expect?
Well, in many ways, it's a day of transition here in Cardiff because we start the morning in Llandaff Cathedral, a service of reflection and thanksgiving for the life of the late Queen Elizabeth, and our thoughts and the focus will be on all of that. We move to the Senedd, the Welsh Parliament, where the new King will address Senedd members, and we'll end the day in Cardiff Castle, where the new King and the Queen Consort will be meeting members of the public, seeing him in Wales for the first time, undertaking these new responsibilities.
How important do you think it's been that the new King has visited or sort of all four corners of the United Kingdom in this first week?
Well, I think it's very deliberate and clearly intended to be symbolic and to reinforce the view of the palace and the new monarch that he wishes from the outset to establish himself as the king of every nation within a devolved United Kingdom. And in that sense, I think it's both symbolically and practically significant.
I wanted to ask you about the announcement that Prince William would become Prince of Wales. I know there's been a little bit of sounding off from some in Wales. What would you think is the overall sort of national response to that, about the idea of the title of Prince of Wales being passed on to William?
I think the overall sense will be one of anticipation, of wanting to get to know the new Prince of Wales better, to see him here in Wales, and for him to have the time that he will need to build up his understanding of contemporary Wales, to think of those aspects of Welsh life with which he will want to become associated, and to form a relationship with communities in different parts of Wales. I think it's that sense of anticipation and of a journey that lies ahead.
And what could he learn from his father? Where do you think now King Charles got it right when he was the Prince of Wales? What were the sort of things that the people of Wales appreciated?
Well, I think they appreciated the long-lasting commitment. That will be a first lesson, certainly. You know, the new King was Prince of Wales for 6 decades, and there was never a year when he wasn't in Wales, based in Wales, making those visits, having those contacts, and so on. And I just think that sheer longevity and that keeping at it all was very much appreciated by people. The new King chose a certain number of key themes which resonated year on year. A very keen interest in young people, and particularly in giving second chances to young people whose lives may not have got off to the best of starts. A very determined interest in the environment here in Wales, in the climate emergency, the nature emergency. And I'm quite sure that the new Prince of Wales will want to think of those causes with which he will want to be identified, and to use the leverage that he will have through the position he holds to make a success of those things that will matter in the Wales of the future.
You're talking about the various sort of challenges and emergencies in the future. I mean, clearly, there are lots of challenges facing the country right now. How soon do you think we should get back to politics, back to tackling the cost of living crisis, inflation, the problems in the NHS, and all of that?
Well, I think we should be beginning that immediately next week. While all of the very necessary and important ceremonial events have been going on, the Welsh Government has been meeting, carrying on doing all the things that we would expect to do, meeting with Cabinet colleagues yesterday, dealing with cost of living issues and the contribution we can make to helping people in Wales through what is going to be a very difficult winter. We need all parts of government right across the United Kingdom to be firing on all cylinders in order to make sure that we do the very best we can to help people through what is going to be a very challenging period.
We've spoken many times before, Mark, about your sometimes difficult relationship with Boris Johnson. I just wondered if you'd yet managed to have and I know, it's been a difficult time, but if you managed to speak to Liz Truss after she famously described you as a low-energy Jeremy Corbyn?
I've had no chance as yet to have a conversation with the new Prime Minister. Look, I absolutely understand this was not the first week that she would have anticipated as a new Prime Minister, and she will have been very caught up in having to help organise all the events that we see unfolding on our television screen. So I think we need to be understanding of that. I look forward to a productive working relationship with the new administration, and if there is a willingness on the part of the new Prime Minister to act in that way, then she will find a ready echo of that here in Wales.
And just finally, Mark, we've heard about the sad death of the former Wales rugby captain and commentator Eddie Butler. He was on a trek in Peru. I just wondered if you had any memories of him.
Absolutely. No, it's a shocking thing that has happened overnight. Eddie Butler had a fluency in the English language, an ability to find the right phrase and to fit it to the moment without any opportunity to think about it in advance. He was a remarkable character, both as a rugby player and as an inspirational captain, but also in the way in which he personified, really, the modern era of Welsh rugby. And I had an opportunity to meet him on a number of occasions outside that rugby world, because he was also someone who took a very direct interest in all the other things that go into making Wales the place it is today, and he will be very, very sadly missed.